Hello friends, it's Kelly Pullum here, also known as Craft & Granny. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! In Canada. And tonight I'm going to give you a little lesson on how to case a card. I know some of my customers feel like they don't really know how to design a card. And so when you see something on Pinterest, sometimes you can copy directly using exactly the products that are there, but sometimes you don't have everything that is being used to make a certain card, but you like it. So we're going to talk about how you can substitute things and make some changes. First of all, so that you can make things if you don't have everything that's there, but also so that you can get a start at designing your own cards. And it'll just give you a little bit of insight into how that can work. Before I switch over to the desktop, I want to mention a few things that are coming up. First of all, on February 20th, I'm at the Parkside Center for Older Adults, and we're making 3 cards. I believe it's a baby card, a wedding or anniversary card, and a sympathy card. And the cost of that class is $20. You can pre-register through the Parkside Center. Then on the 24th of February, I'm at the Sudbury Market. And I have lots of cards for purchase there. I also am starting to offer card kits, and there may be some other surprises as well that I have in the works. So hopefully you can join me at the Sudbury Market. Then I believe it's the 1st of March. Mine is the next class that I have scheduled in my home. Yes. So that is a Friday evening, and I'm going to try a card class at 6:30 p.m. on Friday and see if there's some interest in that. So anyway, I hope that you're going to enjoy the video. If you're watching live or later, you are very welcome. Hi, Tracy. Nice to see you. I'm going to ask that if you are willing, it would be great if you would share the video. Oftentimes you may think, oh, well, I don't know if my friends would want to see this, but you'd be surprised at who might be interested. And also, it gives you the advantage of being able to go back to your own Facebook page and find it easily later if you want to check on how I made a card. And you can even, the other thing that you can do is to save the video if you wanted to save it on Facebook so that you can return back to it again later, particularly since tonight's lesson is all about how to case a card. So I am going to get started here. I'm going to switch us over so that you can see the desktop. I need to get rid of that computer keyboard, and we are going to switch views here. There we go. Okay, so now you can see the desktop. And I'm going to switch so that I can see comments. Perfect. Okay, so the first card that I am going to make tonight is using the Planted Paradise stamp set. And I am using some Moody Mauve cardstock, or mauve, depending on how you pronounce that word. And I have been chastised for pronouncing it mauve, so I don't know. That's the way I've always said it, but whatever. So I'm going to just take this. This is going to make a Z fold card. So I'm going to fold and burnish. This is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 2 1/8 and 4 1/4. So here we go. And that is the card base. Okay. Then I'm going to take a piece of Designer Series paper. This is from the Softly Stippled Designer Series paper, and I'm going to just apply that here. Hi, Nance. Glad you made it. So that is just going to go over here. And it'll have an 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. If I can get it shifted into the right spot there, that looks okay. All right. Now I've got, hi Catherine, welcome. Nice to see you guys tonight. So this is a piece of basic white cardstock, and it is 3 inches by 4 1/4. And this is what I'm going to be stamping on tonight. So I'm going to start off, I'm trying to decide actually. I think I'm going to stamp my sentiment first, and I'm going to do that in Pretty Peacock. And the sentiment is going to come from the Sending Smiles stamp set. And I think, let's see. I think I'm going to do just a card to say hello for this one. Now I got to see which one of these that is. We got a lovely little sentiment strip is what I'm going for. That's why I selected this stamp set. But we have quite a few stamp sets that have sentiment strips. And I'm just going to try and find my long... Sorry, I'm making lots of noise with my acrylic blocks here because I can't find the one I want. I want this long one. So I'm going to just lay that down and pick that up. One of the things you want to do with a sentiment strip, even there, I'm not sure it's perfectly straight. Let's try on my paper trimmer. I'm going to lay this down along the edge of my paper trimmer. See where I can put it where I can see it better. There we go. Line that up, and then I will pick it up. And the reason I'm going to that trouble is because it had a tendency, this one, to bend. I don't even know if I can trust it yet. But anyway, I'm going to go with it. That's enough fussing with that. And then I'm going to get my stamp mat because I am going to be stamping with the photopolymer sentiment here. So I'm using Pretty Peacock, and I'm just going to stamp this across the bottom. Ink that up. Helps if you do it right side up, doesn't it? Okay, and this is just going to go nicely across the bottom there. And that is that. Now I'm kind of working from the bottom up here for today. So the next thing I'm going to do is stamp using the Planted Paradise stamp set. And I'm going to use this pot here, and I'm going to stamp my pot. So I'll get another block, and I'm using Moody Mauve for this. Ink that one up. And I'm going to stamp it fairly low here on my card. So it's going right down just above my sentiment. Centered from left to right. And there we go. Good. So now I'm going to get my leaves for stamping. So when you're stamping, and you're layering things, you need to start with what you want to be in the front and then mask and add your layers as you go back in order to make sure that the things that are in the foreground look like they're in the foreground. So I'm going to start here. First of all, I'm going to cover up my pot so that I can stamp on top of it. I can put the plants in here and keep the pot hidden. Then I'm going to get this particular stamp, and it's going to go in the foreground, and I'm using Lost Lagoon ink. I really do like these colors together. I think they work beautifully. So we're going to take Lost Lagoon, and that is just barely going to overlap my Post-it note mask there. You've seen me, if you've been watching my videos, you've seen me do Post-it note masks before. And so there is that one. Oh, I got a little bit of fluff there. Okay, now I'm going to start adding some additional things here. So I have pre-cut masks here because I've used this stamp set before. So I'm going to mask this piece additionally. And again, this is just a bit of a Post-it note. Stampin' Up! Also sells masking paper. I've used Post-it note tape. Lots of things work. Okay, and I'm going to take some pretty peacock ink and I'm going to stamp this piece next. So this is again a long skinny piece, so I'm going to take my sentiment off of that other block and use this again. And this is going to come up out of my foliage here, like so. There we go. All right, now I'm going to mask that little bit. And I'm just, as you can see, I'm just working, layering things one on top of another. Okay, and I'm going to use the no, that's Pretty Peacock. I'm going to use the Lost Lagoon ink. But this time I'm going to stamp off. So I'm going to grab a bit of scrap paper here. Just a little bit of scratch paper. So I'm going to use this leaf. And I'm going to stamp it in the Lost Lagoon ink, making sure I have the right one here. I should put my little color strips in here, that would help. I'm going to stamp off once, and then I'm going over top here, and I'm going to just layer this. Actually, come down here, I'm going to have this come out the side there. There, lovely. I'm going to do the same thing again on the other side here. There we go. Have to be careful not to rock because I did get some ink on my block. Yes, Tracy, this is an interesting set. I was not drawn to it, but now that I've used it, I'm coming to love it more and more. So that's a funny thing. Sometimes that happens. Forgot my chamois here. Okay. So now I'm going to add the hanging part of this basket. So I'm going to layer yet again, more masks. Took a little bit of time to cut these out the first time I used them, but I saved them and reused them over and over. So in the end, it's not really that great big of a time investment. So there we go. We've got that all covered up now. So now I'm going to start to add the hanging part. So I'm going to use Pebbled Path for that. And I'm going to stamp it off as well to make it a little lighter. And I'm going to use this long piece here. Got to get it right side up. There we go. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this up here to make a triangle. Have to be careful I don't get down into this spot. You know what? I'm going to pull this in because I've used that before, and I'm just going to cover up that little hole just to make sure that I don't end up getting ink where I don't want it here. So we're going to take this, we're going to stamp off, And then I'm going to make my triangle like so. There. Then I'm going to ink again, stamp off, and I'm going to come in the other direction here. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to get my little circle bit. Stamp off and come in here. And then I'm going to take this piece one more time, stamp off, and I'm going to come off the top. So I'm going to move this over here for a moment, and we're just going to stamp up the top there. There. Now I'll take my Moody Mauve ink again. I'm going to pull out this adorable little butterfly. Ink that up, stamp off, and I'm just going to put it up here in the corner. There we go. Just peel all these off. And there we have a lovely little stamped image there. Excuse my tickle in my throat here. So now, this piece, I'm going to cover up my ink pads here. So this piece is going to go onto my pretty peacock layer. I'm going to smush these down so I don't end up with lines. Whenever I use our basic white regular paper as opposed to the thick, I find sometimes if I'm not careful, I can get little snaky lines in behind. And obviously, if you could be perfect with your adhesive and make sure you didn't get a thick line, you'd be okay. But since I'm not perfect, I use the bottom of my adhesive here. Now I can take this. It's going on top of here. It's got a 1/4 of an inch, or sorry, an 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. It's a 1/4 of an inch larger than the base piece. Get this out of there. This is going on the inside. And just to make life simpler, I'm going to pull in this stamp and seal. Oh, looks like that's not going to be simpler because it's empty. Here we go. Another one at the ready here. So I'm just going to put that in there. Now we're ready to go again. So this is going inside the card. And this is going on the card front. So this is card 1. And I don't have a note. I may have cased this from Pinterest somewhere. I'm not sure. Or perhaps not. But that is card number 1. Now I'm going to make a second card. I'm going to use a different stamp set. I'm going to use different designer series paper. And we're going to case the card type. So this is a case, this is a situation where we are copying basically this as if it were sort of a card sketch, if you will. So what I'm going to do is use some different pieces, different colors and everything, and we're going to do another card. So this card, because of the mauve, to me is a little bit feminine. So now I'm going to do a masculine card. So for that card, I have chosen to use Crumb Cake and Pecan Pie. I have patterned paper from the Flight and Airy Designer Series paper. Both of these Designer Series papers are available free with a $60 purchase, but I do not know if they are still available because I have not checked recently what is still available. And our celebration items are while supplies last, so they may or may not still be available. So again, I've got a crumb cake card base this time, but the measurements are the same. 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 2 1/8 and 4 1/4 to make this Z-fold card base. Again, I've cut a card insert. This is just 4 1/4 by 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches to go inside. Like so. I can put my Designer Series paper in here. And that is going on the front. And you can see how already this is starting to have a more masculine feel to this card. I've got my same size piece of basic white here. And I just thought, since I'm doing this tonight, I'm going to use this and I'm going to make my husband's Valentine's card using this. So I'm going to do Love and Big Hugs from this. Because why not make use of this time, right? And so here we go. And then I will put a Happy Valentine's Day sentiment inside. But for now, I'm going to use the pecan pie. And I'm going to put Love and Big Hugs across the bottom. Oh, do you know what? Mistake. I meant to do it across the top for this one. Switch it up. There we go. And now I've got a blob there. We'll see how well I can cover that up. Okay, now I'm going to use the Grassy Grove stamp set. So the Grassy Grove, as you can see, clearly it's a much more masculine stamp set. I'm going to take this grass image here. And I'm going to use some crumb cake ink for that. And I'm going across the bottom here with that. And I do want it to be fairly faint, so I'm going to try doing it stamped off as well. May not have gone down low enough. No, it's up a little higher than I intended, but that's okay. I'm going to just bring this across again. There we go. I got a little overlap, so I'm going to go once more for good measure. Down a little lower. And there we go. I'm just creating a grassy bottom, so that's okay. Now I'm going to get my deer from this image. And I'm going to use the pecan pie color. And I'm going to pull that in, and I'm going to bring it intentionally right down here to cover that little blob where I got a smear to make sure it covers that. There we go. I love the face of this deer. It is a little tricky sometimes to make sure you get the right amount of ink in order to get it, but I love it. Okay, and then I think I'm going to do some of the trees here. So I'm going to take these tall trees. I'm going to try them over here. And I have to decide what shade of green I want. I think, anybody want to give me a suggestion? What color of green? Would you use Lost Lagoon, or would you go with Mossy Meadow or Garden Green? What do you think for this one? Anybody going to chime in? I'm not getting a suggestion here. Let's see. I'm going to stamp the Lost Lagoon on the mat here and see. Oh, shaded spruce might work. Tracy, it might work. It might be a little darker than I'm imagining, but Catherine loves all the greens. Okay. I'm going to just pick this up and see on the mat what Lost Lagoon looks like with that. So there's Lost Lagoon. Or let's grab Mossy Meadow. Oh, Nancy's thinking shaded spruce as well. Huh. Okay, let's pull it out. Let's pull it out and test. Just clean that off so I'm not mixing my colors. Okay, let's just see. Oops, that's not as dark as I thought because my ink pad isn't so juicy. Let's see. Flip this over. 1, 2. Do you know what? I'm going to go with it full strength. I am going to go with it full strength, guys. Let's hope you didn't steer me wrong. Here we go. The trees are fairly delicate themselves. So, yeah, I think that's okay. And then I'm going to just come in on this side ever so slightly behind the deer, just a little bit. Oh, I didn't do it very well. Man, I'm having a tough time today. Okay, let's try this again. No, it's just not giving me the full ink on the side. I'm going to have to live with it. Okay, there we go. What do you win, Tracy? My undying appreciation and value for your color sense. Okay. Now we're going to take this. I've got a crumb cake mat, which we're going to put on here. And this is going on the front. You'll take it. I'm glad. Okay, and here we are. And you know what? I love it again. Now this one, I think I probably would add some gems because it's not as filled in as the other card, right? There's some open space here. So I think I would probably add a couple of gems on here. Oh, I haven't got this on straight, excuse me. And, but I really like this card design. It's a really good basic design. I think it is important for this card that the designer series paper is kind of neutral. Like it's a pattern, but it's neutral. It's not taking away from the focal point of the stamped image. And so I think that matters. And there's lots of room inside for another sentiment, which I think is great. So here we are. 2 cards for tonight. And anyway, I wanted to just show you how you can take a card and case it using a very different type of stamp set. Very, very different designer series paper, really. Different color scheme completely. And you can make lots of different options there. So anyway, that is it for tonight. I hope that you'll join me again on Saturday for a simple stamping video. And next week again, I'll be live at the same time. And I appreciate you joining me. I love your feedback and your help. And so take care, and I hope you have a great week. Oh, last point. I'm making an order tomorrow. So if anybody wishes to place an order, please message me tonight. Even if you don't know yet what it is you want, message me tonight to say, I'm going to send you something and I will wait until I receive the order. Otherwise, I will be going ahead first thing when I get up tomorrow morning and placing the order. Anyway, take care, folks. Love you all. Thanks for watching. And as I said, if you can share the video, it's much appreciated. And I hope to see you again next week. Bye now.